The following is a presentation of TFNN. Trade what you see with Larry Pesavento. Call now, toll free at 1-877-927-6648 or internationally at 727-445-1044. Now, Larry Pesavento.
Okay, looking good, Billy Ray. Feeling good, Lewis. Of course, a lot of talk today about the CEO of Fiat Chrysler, Sergio Marchionne, passing away at 66. He's the Lee Iacocca of Europe, folks. He turned Chrysler around just like Lee did, way back in the 80s. So he's a very, very smart man. Lee Iacocca, I still believe, is in Palm Springs living. I think he's pretty close to 100 now, last I heard. But he lives there at the Thunderbird Golf Club there in Palm Springs, still doing well. Playing gin rummy every day, I was told. All right, let's move on and take a look at the DAX index. As you can see here, we've been in this little tight trading range here for the last 5 or 6 days. Not going up much, not going down much. Uh-oh, there should be one. Let's put it up here. Hold on a second. I had it up there. I don't know what happened. Just a second here. Let's get her up. And then we'll see what's going on. We have a guest today, believe it or not. Norm Winsky today will be our guest at the break. And then tomorrow will be Tim Boss out of Sarasota, Florida from Financial Cycles Weekly, which is a very premier astrological publication also. So that'll be a lot of fun. Now you can see the DAX okay, I believe. And you can see that I know the feeling, Fletch. Let's move on here and take a look at the FTSE here because that's an interesting one. FTSE's backed off quite a bit this morning. Whether it's going to continue down or not, we'll have to wait and see. We're over this major astrological thing, folks. We've got we got Mercury, I believe, is going retrograde tomorrow. That's why we have Norm on today. And then, of course, on Friday, we have that lunar eclipse and new moon, which will be interesting to watch. So we'll pay close attention to that. Someone's asked a question, are there any indications of a potential, top or recession coming in the market? We posted the chart of the NASDAQ yesterday when we hit that. In fact, I haven't updated this yet. I should have, but you'll see that we did get up there. We hit 1.27 expansions yesterday at 74.80. The high was 74.98. And we backed off almost 100 points from that level. Whether that's going to be it or not, I don't know. I just feel very strongly that we're over a major cycle high in here just because of that Mercury retrograde and also that lunar eclipse that we have going. Tim Boss will have some interesting things on eclipses that you're going to really enjoy tomorrow. Some research that he's done on that, which I know you'll enjoy because I certainly enjoyed seeing it. So we'll see. But Rich Anderson was kind enough to send a chart this morning. This is from JP Morgan, I believe. Let's get this up here. It's from the let's correct that. It is from the Michigan's board, University of Michigan Consumer Confidence numbers, and I'm just going to show you the patterns, folks. I don't know what the numbers mean or anything like that, but if you'll notice, those gray areas is where we've had these, big drop-offs in the market. And you can see it's very, very difficult to time this consumer index for a high. The lows are much better, but the highs are really difficult. And the reason why is, greed is a harder emotion to calculate than fear. Fear has more physical characteristics. You have sweating, your mouth gets dry, your eyelids dilate, all that stuff. Because I look at it each day when I start to trade. I look in the mirror and say, oh, so that's what fear looks like. That's the one thing I don't have about these markets is fear, because there's always another train or another bus coming down the way we see it. But anyway, keep an eye on that. There's a few things there, but actually the only thing that I can remember from very vividly when we first started having Norm on the show, which was 3 years ago, back in May 19th of 2015, we had a Mercury retrograde and a new moon I think it's a new moon or full moon. It was one of the two at the same day, and boy, that was the high, and that was a big drop in the market. It was well over 20%. It was one of the last times we had a 20% correction. To be correct. Now we got a lot of other things that are happening that could make these things move, and let's just take a look at just a couple of them, okay? Because they're in the news. Look and see what happened. Huge gap ups in big markets yesterday. Facebook, Google, all of the big ones are up there, gapping up big time. That's a sign of please let me in. I can't take it anymore. You know, that's really what you're trying to tell the market when you see that. And if you'll take a look at this next one, which is Google, let's get this Google up here so we can see it. You can see the ABCD pattern that measures up to almost the exact high at that 1270 level in Google. Now, that's a huge breakaway gap, folks. If you look just here over the past 7 months, you can not see a gap like that. And I'm sure there's one, you know, on the weekly chart that goes back a little bit farther, but on the daily, you haven't seen a gap that big. I mean, that's a huge gap. So, and maybe it's a breakaway gap to the upside. We don't know that. We really don't know that. But anyway, just keep an eye on some of these things because they are making patterns that are certainly indicative of you know, big things happening. Now, the one that has not gone crazy, and that is the Apple. Let's take a quick look here at Apple. We had a big 3 drive to a top pattern back in on June the 7th. We had a nice correction, roughly 8% correction in Apple, and then we went back and we've tested the highs again. Now, Apple didn't go crazy to the upside, but I don't believe it's in the earnings season, and that's what's going on with the earnings. Now, Dave White had a really good point to make on his show that he was taking care of for Tom yesterday, and that is people are really betting heavily that the earnings are going to be good, and they've been paid for it too because earnings have been good, and we've seen huge moves in some of these things. So if that changes, that might be the environment where we could see something just a little bit different going on in the market. But right now, this is a Wednesday. We got 2 more days to go, and with these 2 big Astro days coming up here tomorrow and Friday, I would think it'd be safer to take a look at, you know, what's going to happen on Monday, and that would be the safer thing to look at. Now let's switch over to a market that we've been. There's 2 markets that we really need to talk about because we've been chatting with them for a while. This is the market for gold. We talked about this yesterday. We went right down to that 1220 level. The low was 1218.10. We now rallied back to almost that old high at 1232. If you're in that, if you happen to buy that, put your stop at break even. You know, that's a $10 move. You originally would risk $4 on that. Now you should be at a risk-free situation on that. That's pretty much the way I would play that. You know, that's basically a dollar amount, because if you're risking $400 on a contract that's worth $120,000 and you've made $1,000, you don't want to give that back up because now you're risking $1,400. You know, your original $400 plus $1,000 that you made, and that's not good. And the same thing is true of the live hogs. I'll post that when we get back. We'll talk about live hogs, and we got to talk about Bitcoin because it's at a real critical level.
The TAS Profile Scanner Plus, developed by John Logan and his team, is a standalone piece of software that can change the way you trade. Let the TAS Profile Scanner work for you by scanning over 5,000 financial instruments such as stocks, ETFs, commodities, futures, and Forex. Right now, you can get a 30-day free trial to the TAS Profile Scanner Plus right at TFNN.com. And when you sign up, you gain instant access to John Logan's most recent webinar, How Price, Volume, and Time Make Market Profiles So Unique. This hour-long webinar with John Logan will walk you through the most powerful features of the scanner and how you can use it to become a more successful and profitable trader. You pay absolutely nothing for 30 days while you try out this software risk-free. For more information on the TAS Profile Scanner and to get your 30-day free trial today, visit the front page of TFNN.com.
Many of our new listeners have heard about The Tiger's Den. The Tiger's Den is a lively community where professional traders and investors can meet, exchange ideas and information in a comfortable, moderated atmosphere. Hear all of the TFNN shows, plus see all of the charts as they happen live and have access to archives of all of those charts. You can test drive The Tiger's Den absolutely free for 30 days and greatly enrich your knowledge of these markets and how to make your money work for you. Details on The Tiger's Den are on the front page of TFNN.com.
The Path of Least Resistance, David White's daily market letter, gives you trade recommendations based on David's proprietary power law vector indicator that put the odds of success overwhelmingly in your favor. He'll give you the entry price, price target, and stop price for each stock and option trade. David combines his years of trading experience along with his background in technology and computing to offer his subscribers his take on the markets on a daily basis. Every trading day by 9:30, David publishes his morning issue of The Path of Least Resistance, along with updates sent out throughout the week whenever there is new actionable trading information. All new subscribers receive a 30-day, no questions asked, money-back guarantee. To sign up for David White's daily trading newsletter right now, visit the front page of TFNN.com and you'll find The Path of Least Resistance under Trading Newsletters.
Tiger TV is an exciting way to experience TFNN programming. See high-definition video, giving you crystal clear charts, as well as seeing some of the faces of TFNN's highly acclaimed financial experts with crisp, full-fidelity sound. Catch Tom O'Brien, John Logan, Steve Rhodes, Basil Chapman, Larry Pesavento, Think or Swim, David White, Andy Hecht, and Daryl Martin in crystal clear, high-definition audio and video. Tiger TV, exclusively at TFNN.com. Larry takes your phone calls now. Toll free at 1-877-927-6648. Internationally at 727-445-1044.
Okay, we're back, folks, and yes, it is going to be hot in Arizona today. Phoenix is supposed to be 118. Tucson is supposed to be about 110, but it's a dry heat. Actually, it's not as dry as you might think as we're in the monsoon season, but it actually in the morning and the evenings, it's quite nice. It's just in the midday between like 1 o'clock and 4 or 5 o'clock, it's just really, it's dangerous. So you just stay inside, you know, during that time. Okay, let's move on to take a look at this. Yeah, that's what the skeletons say, that it's a dry heat. If you take a look at this chart that we posted for the live hogs, this is from our good friend Rich Anderson. And if you're interested in getting these ahead of time, I do videos and send these out during the day. You can just go to 24/7 at TFNN. You can subscribe to that because we've had some. This past week has been relatively good for us. We've had some really nice moves in gold and hogs and copper and some other things that look that have been doing pretty good. So bonds. Anyway, let's take a look here at these hogs. Remember that the cost of production down there is right around just a tad below $50 per pound. And we got down to that 46 level. We got up to 49.5. You know, now if you bought the hogs, you've got a 2-cent profit in hogs, which is almost $900. Here again, you don't want that to go to a loss. So put your stop at the 46 level. That way you're risk-free in that, and you don't have to worry about it. And stop and think of it, folks. Even though if you bought it and now your equity run is showing you got almost a $900 profit. Now that money is yours. That's why it says equity. That means that equity belongs to you. That's when it goes down against you, they take the equity away. So when you make it, they give it to you. So you don't like to see that go to a negative. Now, the problem is if you only got a small profit, like $1 or $2 or $3, $400, that's not, in my opinion, worth the risk of missing a good move. So keep your stop at that $600 level, and that way you don't have to risk very much. But now you're at a break-even point, so don't risk any more. I mean, that's a free trade. That's what it's all about, and don't even watch it. Wait till you see what happens with it. That this could be one indication. Maybe if these hogs are bottoming, maybe there's an indication there's going to be some type of a trade thing going on. Now we have the guy. Juncker, the guy from the EU, is here visiting with Trump today, and as Larry Kudlow said today on CNBC, there's very low expectations for this because what Trump wants to do is just take all tariffs down and let everybody have free trade, which, it sounds like a pretty good idea because anytime you have one country trying to take advantage over another, it's a little difficult. Look at Hong Kong, folks. Yeah, that's a very good point, Mr. P. I never thought of that. Very good. Anyway, let's take a thought here about Hong Kong. When you buy a car in Hong Kong, it has a 100% tariff, folks. They charge you 100% on. If you buy a Mercedes for 150,000, you got to pay 300,000 for the car. And not only that, if you want to park it, you got to pay another 100 grand for the parking place. And so that's it's not a cheap thing to have a car over there. And really, to have a car in Hong Kong is, transportation is so good and so cheap in Hong Kong that it's unbelievable. You can go all over that city, especially if you get to be old like me. You get a special card because of being a senior citizen. I can go over that whole city for $2. I mean, I can go from Tsim Sha Tsui all the way out to the airport and back, and over to Tai Chin. I can go all those places for about $2, and get on a bus. It's only $1. So it's really no. They don't have rickshaws. They don't even have rickshaws in China anymore. We'll see rickshaws if you go to Vietnam. They still have some there, and they still have the things in Thailand. What do they call those little motorcycles? Those little death traps. I can't remember what they call those things. That's a motorized rickshaw. What are those things called? Darn, I can't remember. One of you smart people remind me. But those are pretty dangerous. I didn't ever like to ride in those. No, they're not mopeds, but they're little motorcycles with a little roof on top, and I can't think of the name of it. Shucks. I'll Google it later. Gosh, I haven't been to Thailand in 15 years, so anyway, never miss. Folks, I've been so lucky. I got to travel all over the world doing this stuff, and it's no other place could I do something like this. Oh, well, we'll have Norm on at the break here, another good Hoosier. He went to school at Indiana State University, where I went to school. I grew up there in Clinton, Indiana. And I didn't know Norm. I knew his family, but I did not know. They're called tuk-tuks. Thank you very much. We've got one of our friends from far across the pond to tell us. Larry Bird, he is from French Lick, Indiana. I played against French Lick, Indiana when I was in high school. So and Bird went to school. Let's get off to this and get on to talk to some of these markets because I've only got 3 more minutes before the master comes on here at the hour. I wanted to bring to your attention a chart that looks really interesting here, folks. This could be a prelude of something happening with trade. I don't know if it is or not, but Rich Anderson brought it to my attention. They're called tuk-tuks. That's exactly what they're called. And we got that from a good friend over in India. If you'll take a look here at the Hang Seng Index, we completed the monster ABCD pattern from January. Now, remember, we didn't complete that pattern on any of the U.S. stock indices at all. Now, what's important about this is you'll notice that we have this double bottom down here when we hit 27.75. Now, they're reporting that this is the biggest 3-day rally that they've had in 2 years. If you go back to look at February, you can see a rally that is bigger than that. And if you go back to May, you can see a rally that's bigger than that. And if you go back to June, you can see a rally that's bigger than that. So I don't know where they get their figures from, but that doesn't make any sense to me. But that's what they're saying. That's just a market that has been extremely oversold, but there could be an indication that maybe something is happening. We're starting to see the grains bottoming. We've had a pretty good rally in beans yesterday. Corn has had a good rally off the bottom. So there might be something in the wind that we don't know anything about. Now, whether that will put the sales behind the stock market or not remains to be seen because the news follows the trend and it could very easily, be the same thing. No, the tuk-tuk is not an SUV. It's basically a motorcycle that's got a bench seat on it. And boy, they drive those things like they're in the Indianapolis 500. I wouldn't recommend unless you're drinking a lot, which I don't drink, but those things were very, very crazy. Anyway, I used to go to Thailand because I would go to Chiang Mai. Dr. Mark Faber, Dr. Doom and Gloom, lives up there. and he and I worked together. He was in Hong Kong, I was in Los Angeles during the 70s and 80s, and that's where he lives, up in that area. And they have some incredible spas there that I had a problem with TMJ with a pain in the jaws, and I couldn't get it fixed there. And I went over there, and those Buddhist masseuses took care of it in a week, and it was really really good. Oh, very good, Al. He's talking about Tuk Tuk Hummer. Oh man, we're gonna have to get another venue here for the Johnny Carson Show. Wow, we got a break coming up here already, and then we're gonna have Norm talking to us about some. I got to show you Bitcoin, folks. Bitcoin's at the absolute moment of truth. Take a look at this. We're at 61% retracement in the Bitcoin right now.
Larry Pesavento has just started his brand new service, Fibonacci 24/7, and he's already delivering content to his subscribers on a daily basis when the market's opened and even on weekends. Each Monday, you'll receive Larry's written report that provides detailed commentary and a summary on the charts and videos that Larry sends out. And throughout the week, when warranted, Larry will send out via charts or videos or both the key markets that he is watching during the day. This will be up-to-the-date, active trading information that will help you in your daily trading. In Larry's first week alone, he sent out 25 charts, 6 videos, and a full report to his subscribers in just 1 week. If you're a technical trader that uses patterns and retracements to trade, then Larry's service Fibonacci 24/7 is something that you must try. Right now, new subscribers can get a full 30-day money-back guarantee. With nothing to risk, sign up now to Larry Pesavento's Fibonacci 24/7 by visiting the front page of TFNN.com under Trading Newsletters. In quiet markets, investors search for new trading opportunities. We'd like to introduce you to a new product that provides opportunities even in flat markets. Nadex, the North American Derivatives Exchange, is a new and innovative Chicago-based exchange registered with the Commodity Futures Trading Commission, and unlike most other exchanges, Nadex allows you to trade directly through them with direct market access when using their trading platform. Nadex never charges a fee to use their platform, which even includes real-time charts and full customization capability. Nadex's unique short-term binary options allow traders and investors to capitalize on strategies even when the underlying markets are quiet. Nadex's innovation has allowed them to come up with a line of unique trading products that are unavailable anywhere else. See how it works at nadex.com. That's NADEX.com, or click on the Nadex banner on the front page of TFNN.com. Futures and options trading involves risk and may not be appropriate for all investors. TFNN is excited about our new software charting program, The Art of Timing the Trade Charts. In collaboration with Tom O'Brien and using his best-selling book, The Art of Timing the Trade, Your Ultimate Trading Mastery System, David White has programmed an outstanding piece of software that will complement any trader's methodology. Using this first-of-its-kind program, The Art of Timing the Trade Charts allows you to scan thousands of stocks for Fibonacci formation setups, including Gartleys, ABCs, butterflies, and much more. The Art of Timing the Trade Charts is designed to help you when scouring the markets for stocks just beginning to form the trading patterns that many investors spend days, weeks, or even months searching to find. And right now, we're offering licenses available at only $79 a month. We are so confident that you're going to love this new charting software that will even give you a 30-day unconditional money-back guarantee. Don't miss out on this incredible new piece of software. Get your copy of The Art of Timing the Trade Charts today by visiting TFNN.com.
This segment is brought to you by Think or Swim. For more information, just click the Think or Swim banner on the front page of TFNN.com.
Okay, we're back, folks, and I believe we have Norm Winsky from Astro Trend on the line. Norm, are you there?
Yes, sir, Larry. Good morning.
Good morning to you. I'm turning the microphone over, so fire away.
Yes, sir. We got a lot of material to cover. When I was last on your show on the 11th of July, it was right in the middle of a huge cluster of major planetary events. 2 of my top events had just occurred. The 2 categories are when a planet gets to 0 latitude. What is that from the point of view of the sun? as the planets go around and around the sun. They also, like horses on a carousel, not only do they go around and around, they also go up and down. When they get to that midpoint of up and down, that's zero latitude. That's very important. And also, from the point of view of the Earth, we're all going around at different speeds around the sun. And just like when you're driving on the highway, if you look at and you're doing 60, you look out your window and you see somebody, all of a sudden you notice that you look out your window and you notice that it looks like you're going backwards. That's apparent relative motion, how things appear relative to other bodies. And that happens with the planets. So when the planets look like they stopped to reverse their direction from here on Earth, that's called a station point. And they go there's two kinds. One to stop to go forward, called direct, and one when they stop to go backwards, that's called retrograde. So there you go. So we had a Mercury at south 0 latitude on the night of the 9th. The afternoon of the 10th, we had Jupiter turn direct. And we're going to cover these dark markets that were indicated by these planetary events. Let's see, we had a little thing going on there with indicating the U.S. stocks, T-bonds, and a dollar. And then on the 11th, we had another cluster also for the U.S. stocks, T-bonds, and dollar. And then the night of the 11th, you might want to write these down if you have a notepad, or you can go back and listen on the recorded version, so we can go slower for you. And Mercury maximum Mercury points have to do with the grains, and the stock market, is the big basket of everything. It has no filters, so any important things the plants are doing tends to also affect the stock market versus the commodities are narrow filters, and they just tend to dance to a few narrow things. Now we also had the night of the 12th, we had a solar eclipse in Cancer, and the moon was at perigee. That's when as the moon goes around the Earth every month, it's not a circle, it's elliptical, and so there's a close point and a far point. The lunar eclipse coming up here in 2 days, that will be the opposite. That'll be a full moon lunar eclipse at apogee. Apogee is the farthest point. All right, and then we also had the night of the afternoon of the 13th. We had Jupiter in Scorpio, and that lined up with Neptune in Pisces. So now we're going to look at these different markets. I think I forgot to put the oil in until the end, but I got all these charts covered one way or another somewhere. All right, here's your S&P. There you go. You keep those dates in mind. We had a cluster around the 9th to the 10th, and then kind of the 11th to the 12th. And you see here, if we look at the dates down here below, there's your 12th. Let's go back a couple of days. There's your 10th. And you see you had a little top there right on the 10th. It pulled back into the 11th, and then back up to the solar eclipse was the night of the 12th. And the next day, the stock market made a little top there on the 13th. And then we pulled down for a couple of days. There we go. Here's your bonds. Bonds did, I think, something very similar. Might have been upside down from that. There's a low on the 9th, the 10th. The 10th, they made a low. They did just kind of a mirror image. And then they then we had another low on the 11th, and they rallied up and made a top on the 13th. That's right, the 13th. And then they've been kind of down ever since, Mm-hmm. Here's your dollar. There's your, we had the U.S. dates there for, I think, are the 11th, 12th. And there you go. And by the way, these currencies, you like to trade currencies. The currencies love the moon, the full moon, new moon. That works great. Okay, there we go. There's your, right there on the 13th. Here's a nice little short-term top there in the dollar. And of course, then the euro is doing pretty much the opposite thing, Let's move on ahead to the corn. Larry, you and I agree. This corn is probably near bargain basement levels. Well, it's come off the lows here, but guess what? Look where it bottomed. It bottomed on the 12th, the day of the solar eclipse. There you go. Like I've always said, if you don't want to trade, if you don't want to use your brains, trade the greens, right, Larry? There you go.
Sounds good to me.
There you go. Here's the beans making their low right there on the 13th, the next day. And they've been up ever since. Here's your wheat. Wheat was misbehaved a little bit. I did have the wheat for the 11th back here. If it would find that real quick. There we go. I had Mercury doing a thing there on the night of the 11th. So the wheat liked that point better than the eclipse point. And they made its low right there on the 11th. Moving on ahead here. Here's your, I got a special thing. Looking good, feeling good, huh, Larry? Here's here's my little, Larry's got a special day later this week, and I'm doing a little homage here to Larry. We almost never talk about orange juice, but here we go. We're going to talk about the gold market, and I thought I'd throw this in. See, these markets are all I have a whole theory here. All these markets are astrologically related, and some markets are what I call astro cousins. They're related, even though you'd never guess. I'm sure some of you people out there, Larry land, are going to go, oh, I knew Norm was nuts, but now he's certifiable, you know?
Oh, no, we've known that for a long time, Norm, so you can rest it easy on that. So
there you go. So anyway, so I got OJ and gold. Think about it. OJ, here I live in the sunshine state of Florida. Orange juice, man, for many years was called the sunshine drink, right? And The sun is bright, golden, glittery, and sunny too, Larry. And so is gold. Gold is golden, and orange juice is sunny. And look what happened here now. You know, they didn't like they only like temporarily like. There you go. There's your clips for the OJ. But the big date was over here on the 19th to the 20th. Guess what happened over the weekend of the 20th, Larry? The sun goes through the different signs from the point of view of the Earth about every 29, 30 days. And the sun went into its own sign of Leo over that weekend. So that's once a year. That's kind of a big deal. And look at that. The OJ was topping right there. And let's go look at the gold. What was the low day for the gold? The day before, the 19th. So these two markets, I have them as kind of astro cousins, you see. Here's your silver, kind of was following the gold lead there, bottom on the 19th. Now, here's something I had on last month's, not last month, well, sort of. I reviewed this the last time I was on. It was about reviewing what I said in late June about when Mars turned retrograde in Aquarius. Aquarius is copper. And I said, oh, look at that. The copper did not behave nicely, and it didn't turn on my big date there at the 26th of June. And it just kept going. Well, I also told you that we can take information from that we can use to help us make money, even though it didn't work that time. I said, take this leg here from the top to that point. You box that in for about a day, and then take that price. And if it takes that low out, you extend that, you double that over, and it projected to 268. That's a little teaser. I'll show you another after the break here. So, are we coming to the break? I thought I heard music.
Yes, sir. Got to pay a few bills. Stay with us, folks. Norm Winsky of Astro Trend. We'll be right back.
Today, it's hard to tell if the economy is coming or going. Regardless, I want my money going in the direction I choose. If that's your stance as well, then you want to know how Everbank can help keep your money thriving just the way you want. Is growing your money a priority? Everbank is committed to a yield pledge promise to pay high yields on your checking, money market, and CD balances. Looking to diversify? Everbank ingeniously developed accessible ways to spread your money around the world into foreign currencies and even non-FDIC insured metals. And when it comes to your wealth, they bring a highly experienced and global perspective to help you manage it. Everbank's financial philosophy flies in the face of the status quo. They believe your money's performance should not be determined by today's economic circumstances, but by the drive to rise above them and create opportunities that favor your objectives. If that excites you, like it does me, call 1-855-750-4051 to find out what they can do for you. That's 1-855-750-4051. Call them today. Everbank is a member FDIC and equal housing lender.
TFNN has put together the finest programming lineup each trading day, featuring some of the most knowledgeable and respected financial minds in the nation to educate traders and investors. On Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, we broadcast 8 hours a day, starting at 9 a.m. as Larry Pesavento kicks us off with Trade What You See. Tuesdays and Thursdays, we broadcast 11 hours. Get an early and healthy start to your day as Nico and Paige bring you Living a Primal Lifestyle. Then catch Andy Hecht at 5 p.m. with the Commodities Hour, following the Tom O'Brien Show. Swim lessons from TD Ameritrade Think or Swim is now at 11 a.m., followed by Basil Chapman at 12 noon. see the TFNN program lineup via the link on the front page of TFNN.com to get a complete overview of our TFNN shows and hosts. And keep TFNN's Tiger TV tuned in on your mobile device, PC, or Mac for the latest financial news and information throughout the broadcasting day. TFNN.com, educating investors.
Biotech is booming, but for how long? Whether you think the biotech bull has room to run or has run its course, trade LABU or LABD. Direction's daily S&P Biotech 3 times bull and bear ETFs. Visit directioninvestments.com/biotech today. An investor should consider the investment objectives, risks, charges, and expenses of the Direction shares carefully before investing. The prospectus and summary prospectus contain this and other information about Direction shares. To obtain a prospectus or summary prospectus, please contact Direction shares at 866-476-7523. The prospectus or summary prospectus should be read carefully before investing. An investment in the funds is subject to risk, including the possible loss of principal. The funds are designed to be utilized only by sophisticated investors such as traders and active investors. Distributor Foreside Fund Services, LLC.
The Bull Bear Binary Option Hour, brought to you by Nadex. Next on TFNN.
Hey, folks, we're back with Norm Winsky of Astro Trend. Do you want to continue on, Norm? But we have a question from one of our listeners, and that is, if you were to rate this date that we have here with the Thursday and Friday coming in with the lunar eclipse and also Mercury, if you rate it on a scale of 1 to 10, he would like to know what would it be between 1 and 10.
I'm going to get to that when we talk about the future.
Oh,
Okay.
so you're not going to answer it now? You go right ahead. Do whatever you like. Go ahead, my friend.
Right. It will be in logical sequence, right?
Oh,
Okay,
well,
so on the show 2 weeks ago, I showed you how the copper had gone through this, not turned there, and kept going. I said, we're going to flip that interval over. And it projects to $2.68 in a minute or two. I'll show you. This is not this is the actual chart I showed you 2 weeks ago. In a minute, I'll show you a couple minutes. I'll show you the actual updated chart and what happened. It's pretty interesting. Okay, we're going to move ahead now. I had a couple dates here for Cocoa and Hogs. They're Astro cousins. And look what happened here. Here's my green arrow there for the magic day for Cocoa and Hogs, the 13th. And we were 1 day ahead of that nice top there that was a Friday. And Monday, the 16th, was the top. And then we went down, and the Hogs, and that's the Cocoa. No, we'll get to the Hogs in a minute. Anyway, made a top there on the 16th, and then we went down. Here's your Hogs. Did pretty much the same thing, even more accurately. They topped, I think, right on the 13th. See, 12, 13, yeah, there's the 13th. And then the Hogs went down, looking for the trough, right? The Hogs looking for the trough. Okay, well,
that was a joke, Norm. You did a good job on that one.
That's a little hog humor there, Who's your hog humor,
Okay.
All right, now we're going to look into the future. We're going to get our telescope out now and look at the planets and the stars and see what they are telling us coming up. Guess what? Here's my first date right now. We got the next big cluster of planetary activity starting tonight, after the close, 25th. Mercury's in Leo is going to turn retrograde, so we're going to watch for a change in trend in corn, gold, OJ, soybeans, stocks, and wheat, okay? Well, we already looked at some of those charts, and then we have a moderate change in trend due on tomorrow afternoon for the U.S., which tells you look at U.S. stocks, T-bonds, U.S. dollar. That's a good question. What is it we're looking for? We're looking for these markets that are indicated to be at an extreme. If they're not extreme, don't trade them. I think your previous show or show before that, I was looking at the Hogs and said, wow, these Hogs are sleeping. They're not doing anything. They got to get moving here in the next 2 days, or there's nothing to do. And the next day they fell out of bed and went running for the trough again. Right? So there you go. So they, that's what happens. These points tend to act like sort of time and price magnets, out there in time and price space. So when they get close to these dates, the markets tend to go zoop right to some extreme, either a big high or big low. All right, here's your lunar eclipse in Aquarius. Okay, now I'm going to tell you more than that guy asked about. I'm going to tell you the rules for lunar eclipses. Lunar eclipses have an excellent track record for the stock market, which is that the stock market does not like lunar eclipses. It works 75 to 80% of the time, and especially if the lunar eclipse occurs during the trading week. That's Monday through Friday, but not especially so much if it's late on Friday like it is this time. So that sort of diminishes the potential of this lunar eclipse, because then you got a 1 day window. You only got a 1 trading day window when the major indices are on average drop about 1.75%. So a big thumping. You might remember, Larry, I came on your show on Monday, January the 29th, to warn the folks about the coming lunar eclipse on the 31st, and I said back then, the stock market does not like lunar eclipses, and we know what happened then, right? So, so anyways, but I'm going to handicap this one a little bit and say it may not be as big as some others, because if you have to see this thing really go down by Friday, or it may not work, because then you get past that 1 day window, and then the energy tends to get dissipated. Okay. If it's on a Sunday night, we might have a chance for a good whacking, but because it's Friday right after the close, it's gotta see some action here on Friday, or it may not work. So anyway, it's
Norm,
a sign. What's that?
Norm, we have a question from one of our listeners.
Okay.
The question is, why couldn't it top on Friday and then gap down on Sunday or Monday?
Usually the pattern I've observed is if it has a couple of days like that, the energy tends to get dissipated. So if it doesn't have a big down on Friday, it's probably not going to be as big as it could be.
What time is the lunar eclipse on Friday?
About 4:20 in the afternoon Eastern time, so right after the close.
Okay, that makes good sense.
Okay, hopefully I gave a better answer than the 1 to 10 question. Right?
You did a good job. We're going to give you an A+.
There you go. Okay, we got our next date is coming up on after the close on the Friday the 27th. We have these markets indicated: cocoa, hogs. Not going to do oats, oil, stocks, and T-bonds. And then also, here's a real interesting thing, Larry. Everybody go out tonight and look at the sky. I was out last night briefly and looked up at the sky. There's a show going on. There's a light show going on. Gonna have the full moon, and not too far from that, you'll see Mars. Is going to be its closest point in many years. It's going to be perigee. Now, there's close to the Earth, and so you'll see the big red planet brighter and closer than you've seen it in a long time. You'll be amazed at how bright it is. Anyway, that indicates watch your copper and your stocks. And then coming up here on the afternoon of August 1, we have a Venus thing, and that tells you to look at cattle, copper, cotton, sugar, stocks, and wheat. So here's your copper market here. And guess where it went to? Guess what the low was, Larry? I was wrong by 65 points. That's 65 hundredths of a penny. There's the low, $2.6735. My projection was 268 when I was on your show two weeks ago. I think that was even may have done that back. Yeah, that was 2 weeks ago, right?
Yeah,
Here's your cat.
Good job.
What's that?
It's a good job on that one.
Thank you. It's good enough for government work, right? All right, there's your cattle. Cattle's been rallying, contrary to the hogs, which you'll see in a moment, and they're getting close to the top of their channel. So when we get to, you need to look at these markets a day or so before the magic time. And when we get there, if the cattle are still near their top of their channel here, it might be an opportunity to go short there. We have to wait and see what happens between now and August 1. Let's look ahead now. The next market, here's your cotton. Cotton's kind of doing nothing right now. The last week or so, it's kind of been going sideways. So we need some action there into August 1. It could change here today or tomorrow, Mm-hmm. Here's sugar kind of coming off of a low here. Again, these are all markets you want to watch for right around August 1st. And here's your crude oil. I haven't really covered the crude oil up till this point. And there's your crude oil there. And we got a date coming up here, I think. Let's see, where is that? My Jupiter. Oh, there we go. After Friday's close over the weekend. Could be into Monday, will be the crude oil date. There's your magic date for crude oil. So we want to see these markets get to an extreme at their key date, and then we'll watch for a change in trend. We got enough time to tell the folks how they can get all the free goodies I'm giving away.
We have to pay the bills, but you're going to come back and tell them because we have one question for you. We're going to pay a few bills, and we'll be right back with Norm Winsky of Astro Trend out of Naples, Florida.
I'm certain you are or strive to be one of the best at everything you do in life. It's the most common trait that we tigers and tigresses share. If you're looking to become the best of the best when it comes to managing your money, let me teach you to do what most wealth managers tell you can't be done, which is how to time the markets. I'm Steve Rhodes, author of Mastering Probability, and for the last 12 months, Timer Digest has been tracking my newsletter signals, which have earned me the ranking as their #1 market timer in the nation for the S&P 500 for the last 12, 6, and 3 months. Timer Digest also ranks me as the #1 market timer for gold as well. The fact is, markets can be timed, and I'll teach you the exact set of tools that I use that has transformed me into one of the best at what I do. Sign up for Mastering Probability today by clicking on the newsletter tab on the homepage of TFNN.com and get immediate access to workshops where I take you step by step how to use an extraordinary set of tools as well as provide great market calls too. Sign up today.
No matter what kind of trader you are, 2018 is a great time to try out a subscription to Tom O'Brien's Gold Report. Whether you just plan on diversifying your portfolio with some exposure to gold and gold mining equities, or you're a gold bull that sees 2018 as the year of commodities, now is a great time to sign up for the Gold Report. Tom O'Brien publishes his Gold Report every Monday morning before the market opens and covers a variety of topics including gold, silver, platinum, copper, the XAU and HUI, the dollar, bonds, South African rand, as well as more than 20 of the most actively traded mining equities. Start your 2018 off with a bang and sign up for the Gold Report today. The Gold Report is a long-term newsletter where the focus is on building real wealth through the management of a successful portfolio of gold stocks. For all the details and to start your subscription right now, visit the front page of TFNN.com and you'll find the Gold Report under Investment Newsletters. Since 1984, Basil Chapman has been using the Chapman Wave methodology to advise traders of his expert market opinion. While originally hand-drawing charts from the late 1970s into the 1980s, Basil noticed that prices under most circumstances virtually always had a certain number of legs to the upside before declining sharply. Later, Basil found that computer software, which included the standard market technical indicators, enhanced the degree of accuracy in calling price turns, as well as market trend calls. Thus was born the Chapman Wave sequence. Using the Chapman Wave methodology along with other indicators, Basil Chapman advises his subscribers of his expert market opinion each market day with his opening call newsletter. Right now, you can get a 2-week free trial to the opening call, Basil's daily trading newsletter, by visiting the front page of TFNN.com. Cancel at any time during that trial and pay absolutely nothing. Get your 2-week free trial to Basil's newsletter, The Opening Call, today by visiting TFNN.com.
This segment is brought to you by Think or Swim. For more information, just click the Think or Swim banner on the front page of TFNN.com.
Okay, Norm, we have a question from one of our listeners, and that is, have you ever studied the book by Dr. Al Larson called Your Electric Life?
I know Al.
Well, I know you know him, but have you read the book, and what do you think of it?
I think I skimmed that book one time. I'm familiar with the theories behind that.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Anyway,
now
so
you want to tell the folks how they can reach you.
Righto. So anyway, I have you can sign up to get my letter for free for a month and a free class, a 6-hour class, individual, personalized for you. I do these about once a month. I usually have 6 to 8 people sign up. I got about maybe 3 spots left, and so call me right away. Now, I know my stuff to some of you folks out there in Larry Land. Look at this stuff and go, this is like a foreign language. But guess what? There's nothing in my letter that's over a 5th grade level. I could teach a 10-year-old this stuff. You'll get familiar with this stuff, and in a matter of a few days, you'll be able to follow along. And I teach people how to day trade. I've demonstrated that in past weeks, where many of my turning points are within a few minutes. If you don't want to day trade, you can do the longer swing trades. I have and these signals, by the way, I've proven work about 75% of the time on average. So, so it works pretty well, and it's not very complicated. There's no mathematical formulas to learn. The planets tell you what to do, and it works most of the time. So it's very good. I've been doing this 50 years. I started studying the markets when I was a teen, and started studying the astrology and the markets and trading in college. It did quite well. It did well enough to buy a seat in 1975 on the Chicago Board Options Exchange. Became a member right out of college in 1975, and did that for 12 years. Also traded on the Board of Trade while I was there. So, this has been pretty good, and I'd like to share this with you. And the class is free, but call me right away, because I got these spots filling up, and then you'll have to wait another month. So here's my contact info down here at the bottom of the page. I'm in sunny Naples, Florida. Not quite as sunny as where you are, Larry, but but there you go, 239-594-3939. That is my email address at the bottom of the page. And Winsky at imparkmail.com, and you can call me on Skype at norm.winsky. Thanks a lot for having me on, Larry. Everybody have a great day.
Happy lunar eclipse, Norm. 877-927-6648.
Hi folks, Tom O'Brien here. If you'd like to get my daily newsletter, Market Insights, then now is a great time to sign up for a 30-day free trial. Every morning by 9:30, I send out my morning letter to subscribers with market commentary on a variety of markets, currencies, and commodities to keep investors up to date on the day's trading action. Included in Market Insights are specific buy and sell recommendations for stocks, ETFs, and even options, with stops and price targets included for every trade in my newsletter. If you'd like to try my newsletter risk-free for 30 days, then head over to the front page of TFNN and you'll find Market Insights under Trading Newsletters. I use my years of trading experience to bisect and dissect the market every morning and give my subscribers the most important information they need to know for the day ahead. I even issue afternoon updates for my subscribers whenever warranted with important market action. I'm always scouring the market for the next great trading opportunity. Sign up for your 30-day free trial to my daily newsletter, Market Insights, today by visiting the front page of TFNN.com. Wow! Go get 'em, folks.